As you can tell by my hair, it's a little wet. I had to cleanse myself. Today we're here to talk about the worst film I've ever seen. As you can see, I've changed things around in my room a little bit. Hey, but don't cry. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. I know it's a little different. Give me your hand. Here, reach out to me. I can't. This is terrible. We're gonna discuss a film by the name of
Disaster Movie.
Here's an image of the poster right here. So I don't own this film on physical media. So I had to torrent it.
When our lives are at risk, who can save us?
I am Iron Man. You fucking idiot.
From the guys who've seen way too many movies comes the most incredible, most disastrous.
Hell no. I'm out of here.
Comedy of the summer. Disaster Movie.
Anyway, quite a bit of notes, as you can see. There's a lot of... Alright, so now we're going to discuss the reasons why I think this film is the worst film I've ever seen. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, Disaster Movie has a 1% from the critics and a whopping 21% from the audience. Now, you might be asking yourself, why on earth am I choosing to discuss a spoof movie? In case you don't know what a spoof movie is, it's basically a film that makes fun of something, whether it's pop culture or another film or whatever. You might be curious as to why I'm reviewing it, because spoof movies are usually bad, you know, like intentionally so. A lot of these movies are meant to be bad, you know, and I completely see that and I understand that. I'll put it to you like this. I chose this movie because it's a comedy that simply is not funny. Here's the thing about spoof movies, okay? Here's the thing about movies that are intentionally bad. First of all, you have movies that are trying really hard to be good, but end up sucking. And because they're trying so hard, it's funny and it's fun to watch. So they are, for that reason, unintentionally bad. And then you have films like the Sharknado films, where they are intentionally bad, but they play it straight. They play it as if this is a dramatic, heavy movie. But it's not. So that is part of what makes it funny, because it's being played straight. That is intentionally funny. But when you have a spoof movie that is categorizing itself as a comedy, and it ends up being worse than the things it's spoofing, then it's just bad. This movie fucking depressed me. I felt like I was at a funeral. I felt like I was watching somebody die in front of me. But in reality, I was dying. Throughout the whole movie, I felt like I was crying. I felt tears streaming down my face, but in reality, it was just my eyes bleeding.
I am Beowulf. Can you put some clothes on?
I am Beowulf.
There is no enjoyment when watching this movie. You don't get anything from it. You don't care about anyone? You don't care about any of the cameos and freaking cosplays they have going on? You don't care about, oh, what's the next pop culture reference that's gonna come up?
Excuse me, are you ready to get your ass kicked?
Oh, hell no, Kung Fu Panda. You shouldn't have done that.
Get ready to feel the...
It becomes stale. It becomes so stale, so quick.
So the film starts with some terrible opening credits. It looks like it was done with freaking Microsoft Paint. I could have edited this. And you see a freaking caveman fall on shit. And when he falls, when his face hits the shit, he comes up and he says, shit, you know, like.
It's funny because it's shit.
And then there's a scene where our caveman character meets a woman cosplaying as Amy Winehouse. And she has these terrible teeth and they look like, you know, and it's supposed to be, haha, it's funny because she looks like Amy Winehouse and Amy Winehouse had terrible teeth, right? Huh.
You fucking idiot.
Anyway, then she burps for a very long time, and it the jokes drag. I mean drag.
95% of this movie is padding.
And then Amy Winehouse tells this young man that, oh, the world is gonna end in August.
August 29th, 2008. Bottoms up.
And then he's like, oh no. And then he wakes up out of a dream and he's in his bedroom and it's lit like a TV show. And he looks over to this girl in his bed. Then there's this guy that springs up out of the bed and it's implied that...
Amy.
Flame, yeah!
I've been giving your girl the flavor of love. She's been sucking my clock all night long.
Get the hell out of here, Flavor.
It's funny because it's shit.
And then they have an argument or whatever, and then the guy's like, oh wait, you're not gonna come to my super sweet 16 birthday bash or whatever? And she was like, dude, you're 25. And
oh, look over there, everyone. It's Jessica Simpson.
and then we cut to the actual birthday party. Any of us could have made this movie. Like, if this movie came out straight to DVD, right? I wouldn't care. You know, you release it on DVD, whatever, make your quick paycheck. But when you release it in theaters, then you cross the line. And then you're eligible for becoming the worst film I've ever seen. So that's their fault. That's their fault. They wanted to choose to ruin people's lives for 88 minutes. The film is barely theatrical length.
Have them sit there and ingest this god-awful piece of shit. Stay hydrated, people.
And then we meet our main characters. But we meet a bunch of other characters along the way. We meet McLovin and Jonah Hill from Superbad.
We gotta get the alcohol so we can get the girls drunk so we can finally get laid.
I am clever.
Yeah, I know.
I am clever.
Stop saying that.
I am clever.
God, you're such a...
Oh, look. It's Justin Timberlake.
And then we meet Dr. Phil, and we meet Jessica Simpson, and then we meet Kim Kardashian, and then we meet Carmen Electra. We also meet Juno and Michael and Bleecker from Juno. And eventually the world shakes, like there's an earthquake. One of the biggest issues I have with this movie is that it's just scenes. No plot at all. We got like 20 minutes into the movie and we've been at this party for like what feels like an hour. Where is the disaster?
Oh my god, dude, it's Miley Cyrus.
What disaster is happening? And we never see what the disaster does. We just get a lot of shaky cam, fire effects like asteroids coming down. And then we get the High School Musical team in there.
Hello, my friends. You're all at my party. It's so good to see all of you.
Their one and only impetus in making this fucking was to see how many pop culture references they can put into 88 minutes of padding.
The whole movie is filler. Everything.
And look at this critical consensus. Returning to their seemingly bottomless well of flatulence humor, racial stereotypes, and stale pop culture gags, Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer have produced what is arguably their worst movie yet. And yeah, listen, it is their worst movie. It's the worst film I've ever seen. Listen, let's talk about this dynamic duo here, Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. Who the fuck are these guys? You're probably asking me, right? Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer are the dog shit dynamic duo that wrote and directed these terrible spoof movies that originated in the 2000s. Let me just give you here's a
list of their filmography.
Scary Movie, Date Movie, Epic Movie, Scary Movie, Date Movie, Epic Movie, Disaster Movie, Meet the Spartans, Vampires Suck, The Starving Games, Best Night Ever, Superfast, etc., etc., etc. Now let's think about this. All of these films, except for Scary Movie, have Rotten Tomatoes scores in the single digits. One of them is 0%. Two of them are 0%. Two of them are 0%. One of them, Scary Movie, spawned like 12 sequels or something. I'm intrigued. Let me look at the box office. On a $20 million budget, it made $34.8 million worldwide. It might have lost money, but I don't know. Because lower budget films like this don't necessarily have huge ad campaigns where they spend a big amount of money on the marketing. So it might have done well.
You fucking idiot.
Bottom line is that this is a comedy that isn't funny. Let us look for a cinematic equivalent. Would you be okay with that? Does that get you going? Disaster Movie is the cinematic equivalent of someone talking to you when their breath is really, really hot. When they open their mouth to say something to you, your whole body tenses up. You become scared. You become disgusted. You start to question the validity of whatever they're saying because you're not hearing anything they're saying. All you're doing is smelling the fat waft of dog shit that's coming your way. And you slowly begin to hate them. You keep your distance Because that's the only way you can stay sane, right? That's the only way. This is the worst film I've ever seen. Is there a reason to live anymore? There is none. Come with me. Come with me. Away from this world. Because I have our Savior. I have our new King. We will be saved. Aww.